this is time for us to come together and also to learn. So I want to seize this opportunity to welcome you all that is listening and watching us all over the world. Right. Wisdom is the principal thing, and in all our getting, we get understanding, stated in my Holy Bible. And that is why we are here this afternoon, this evening, or this morning. So permit me to invite our very first speaker of today, Father Ro Benny Basilia, PhD from Philippines. Father Oregon by blood, Bicolano by heart, and a servant for all. Father Ro Benny Basilia is married priest belonging to the old Roman Catholic Church, Metropolitan See for all Asia, North America, Old Roman Catholic Church, and success. He is a bona fide member of Mission Society of Saint Peter and Paul. Father is also the blessed with two kids, Aisa Angela, which is 22, and Benedict, who is also 16. His wife is Nerissa, because it's very important that we are proud of our family. Nerissa Basela. He is a bishop-elect. He was ordained to the sacred order of priesthood in the Roman Catholic Church by His Eminence Jamie Cardinal on the March 21st, 1998, at the shrine of Our Lady of Peace. His high school years were spent in St. Gregory the Great Seminary, Tobacco City, where his vocation to the priesthood was nurtured. He pursued his tertiary education at Martha Salutis College Seminary and graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Arts, major in philosophy. He belongs to the pioneer class of this major seminary under the care of the Dowsy of Legapis. Okay. Santos Seminary became his home for his theological formation, which is run and managed by Jesuit formators. He graduated Bachelors of Arts in Sacred Theology and Masters of Art in Pastoral Ministry at Loyola School of Theology, Antona de Manila University, hitting two birds with one stone. Wow. He enrolled in De La Salle University to pursue Masters of Arts in School Leadership in 2017, where he graduated Doctor of Philosophy major in Educational Management at Our Lady of Fatima University Graduate School, Ozen City. He was able to pass the lecture examination for teachers given last March 2019. He teaches social sciences and philosophy subjects. He was invited to join the graduate school faculty of Our Lady of Fatima University, where he shares his knowledge and expertise. And as a researcher, he presented his research in the Philippines and in Thailand. Father Ro is now working with the Department of Education, Ozen City Division, as public school teachers at Langro High School. He is a recollection and retreat facilitator facilitator, lecturer, motivational speaker, preacher, lover, a father. He is fondly called as Dog Pat, Betty, Service Day. So permit me to invite Father Ro Basila from Philippines to share his knowledge, his wisdom, and his experience with us regarding building and managing relationship. You are welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, my queen, for that very generous introduction. I am humbled and honored to be here in your masterclass in order for us to learn the relationship. So today is a Good Friday. That's why I'm wearing my red stole to commemorate the passion and death of Jesus Christ. And this is red, meaning it's blood. Today we commemorate the bloody sharing of life of Jesus in the Calvary. So, my dear brothers and sisters, it's a great opportunity to share with you a little reflection on how we're going to deepen our relationship with Jesus. Today, Jesus died and saved me from my sin. So, what is a Good Friday? What is good in Good Friday? Good Friday is different from all the Fridays that we celebrate, that we live all the years of our life. But once a year, there is what you call Good Friday, wherein people from all walks of life, having this faith, being a Christian, being a Catholic, visiting churches, trying to pray the Stations of the Cross, allowing the journey with Christ at his last hour of his life on earth. And there is this inner challenge in every Catholic, in every Christian, proclaiming that Jesus is his personal Savior. So this is a great opportunity for us to meditate. So the question is, how are we going to deepen our relationship with Jesus Christ? The general view is, how are we going to deepen our relationship with God? Yes, not all people believe that God exists. But philosophically speaking, there is no atheist, because if we define in philosophy what is God, who is God, it is something or someone that rules our life. It can be a thing, it can be a person, or it can be anybody, anything. But we Christians, our God is a face. It is the face of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And this Trinity, this has what we call relationship. That's why our relationship always be in the context of communion. But how are we going to deepen this? So, because of the sin entered into the world, God the Father sent his Son to become like us. And now the centrality of our faith, this day, we focus on the death of Jesus Christ, the second person in the Holy Trinity. Who is Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ, as we know, it can be a friend, can be a father, can be a brother, can be a neighbor to us. But as a follower of Jesus Christ, who is he personally for us? So my dear friends, the basic of relationship, the basic step of relationship is three things. One is to know, to love, and to serve. So let me reiterate, let me explain, what is it to know? God gave us the intellect and the will. So we have the capacity to know. To know a person is to spend time with the person. To know oneself is to spend time with oneself. And to know God is to spend time with God. To know Jesus is to spend time with Jesus. First, who is the historical Jesus? The historical Jesus, like us, humans. Human as we are, we feel many things. One is we are happy, we are sad, we became angry, we became lonely, we became fearful, we became somehow awful. So these are the emotions. Our emotions is also the emotions of Jesus because he became man like us, except in sin. The only person who lived on earth without sin is Jesus Christ. That's why today, as we commemorate his death, at the background, on the onset of the background of Jesus, he is a Jew, and this is just a Passover meal in their story. And a Jew would prepare a lamb, unblemished lamb. And the blood would be put into the doors of every Jew, of every Israelite. Now, this is the story of the Passover. Now, when the angel of death passes over, no, for the punishment given to the Egyptians. Now, this is what they commemorate. That's why every Jew, they have this Paschal meal. And now, there is this great transition. He himself becomes the lamb. He himself offered. No? That's why, as Catholics, as Christians, Jesus Christ became our food. His blood became our drink. That's why, on the level of knowing, we have to learn. We have to scrutinize the historical Jesus. Second step is to love. We don't love whom we do not know. I think it's very clear for us. How is it to love? Jesus Christ loved us. He offered his life for us, for the ransom of the many, for the forgiveness of the sins. So love takes life. Life takes love. So when Jesus Christ loved us, he loved us until death. So this is the challenge for us. If we get to know Jesus, there is this transformation in us to love. To love is to offer oneself to Jesus, reciprocated with the love of Jesus to us. That's why in loving, there are many aspects that we can hit. Knowing ourselves, knowing God, knowing our family, knowing our friends. And one of the painful part when Jesus Christ was sold by his friend Judas for 30 pieces of silver. That's the twist. And Peter denied him 3 times. And that's the pain that we inflict. So my dear brothers, as a friend, as a father, as a mother, as a son, oftentimes people hurt us more because we have a relationship. And this is the reality of relationship. That somehow in loving more, there is this aspect of pain. That's why Jesus Christ, when he loved us, he gave his total self to us on the aspect of love. Know, love, and the third one is serve. We will not serve people if we don't love. And the only thing that who did it or who does it are the servants. In the Philippines, we call it alipin. Alipin, servant. But Jesus Christ, because of his love for us, does not call us alipin, does not call us servants. I call you friends, not servants. I call you friends. That's why when we serve, there is now the aspect of love. No? In the Philippines, we have what we call kasambahay. Kasambahay means a companion in our home who help us prepare things, prepare for our daily needs. They do the laundry, they do the cooking, they do the cleaning of the house, they do some errands. And we call it kasambahay. Kasama sa bahay. A companion in our home. And we don't call them slaves. We don't call them servants. That's why in the law, in the legality, they are entitled for social security services. We pay for the SSS. We pay for the Pag-ibig Fund. All the legality, all the benefits of being a kasambahay, a companion in the house, is given. So, when we love, when we serve, there is no aspect of servant. There is no aspect of alipin. Because Jesus Christ called us friends. Now, friends. That's why here we see the flow to love, to know, to love, and to serve God. To know, to love, and to serve Jesus. So we will not serve people whom we do not know. We would not love people whom we do not know. More so, we would not serve people whom we do not love. That's why Jesus Christ knows us. That's why Jesus Christ loves us. That's why he is serving us. Remember, he tells us, I come here not to be served, but to serve. That's a very deep kind of relationship. I do not call you slaves, but I call you friends. That's why betrayal is the most painful thing. We don't call it betrayal if our enemy does it. We call it betrayal because our friends do it. That's a stab at the back. So how are you going to deepen the relationship with Jesus Christ? Is it enough that we know him? Is it enough that we love him? Is it enough that we serve him? But the highest point is serve him. The question is, how can we serve Him? How can we serve Jesus Christ? How can we serve God? One is to follow His commandments. There are 2 commandments given. There are 10 commandments given by God to Moses. And when it's the time of Jesus, it was summarized into 2. Love God and love your neighbor. So let's go to the 10 commandments. These 10 commandments is followed by Judaism. These 10 commandments followed by the Muslims, the Christians, the Catholics, those who believe. One is, thou shalt have no other gods. It was the tablet that was given to Moses by God. Remember, no, there is already a tablet way back during the time of the ancient time. Okay, when I'm saying tablet, it's the gadget that we use today. No? God is a jealous God. No other God that should be adored. And that time, the Israelites were adoring Baal. Who is Baal? Baal is the cow. That's why when Moses was staying for long at the mountain, and the people down at the mountain were waiting for Moses. And out of the blue, they started collecting this ring, all those metals, and they created Baal. That's why when Moses went down, he threw the tablet. He was angry. Because number one, we should not have other God. Number two, no graven images carved. But for us Catholics, we have this as a reminder. I have here the image of Jesus, the image of the smiling Jesus. You would always laugh at me every time I have a problem. You would just laugh at me. These images, because we try to adore them, but we do not adore them. They are a reminder. That's why in our churches, especially in the Roman Catholic Church, we have these 3D images. It's a reminder, no, of their faithfulness. We don't adore them. The adoration is given to the highest. And how do we deepen our relationship? No, by praying. No? Number 3, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Always in the context of love and sincerity that we use God. Because God, a very powerful, supernatural, that caters our needs. And we have that close contact with Him. That's why Jesus Christ taught us a very simple prayer. The prayer, the Lord's Prayer. And He tries to tell us, when you pray, pray like this: Our Father who art in heaven, holy be your name. Blah, blah, blah. And give us today our daily bread. Today. We don't ask for a week, a bread for a month, a bread for a year, but daily bread. And this is what is meant of relationship. But we have to communicate, constant, daily communication. And the fourth one is, remember the Sabbath day. God gave us Monday till Saturday to work. But on the seventh day, God rested, and we try to offer it to the Lord. And for us, to deepen our relationship, we have to go to church every Sunday. And for the Sabbath, recognizing the power of God given to us, taking good care of our physical needs, economic needs. And on the seventh day, we have to go to church just for an hour or two. For what? To give thanks for all the blessings that we receive. It's a very simple saying, thank you, Queen, for inviting us. Thank you, Sir Von, for being with us. A simple gesture of gratitude, which people nowadays forget because they think, because today we have the culture of entitlement. Entitlement. That's sometimes devil enters into that entitlement. I have a PhD, I am entitled to this. We forgot that aspect of relationship, the gratitude. Number 5, honor your father and your mother. Very basic. We have to give thanks. Also, take good care of our parents. Is there still a culture of taking good care? Here in the Philippines, we take pride of claiming that we really take good care of our olds. And Sir Von can attest to that. No, we take good care of our olds. But in developed countries, they have this home for the aged. And if their parents are no longer beneficial to them, they would just put them there. And of course, everything is paid for. Everything is taken care of. But is it the money that moves around, or it, well, that speaks a lot. Honor your father and your mother. The very simple thing, honor. The meaning of honor is to take care, to give respect. And sad reality is, because of entitlement, we claim that it's our parents' duty to take good care of that, send us to school. That's our entitlement. And after that, we forget about the parents. So my dear brothers and sisters, in order for us to deepen our relationship with Jesus, we have to follow this commandment. Honor your father and your mother. Number 6, thou shalt not kill. No more explanation to that. It's very clear. Thou shalt not kill. Every breath of life is important. There's a rampant abortion in the world. I have the right to take good care of my body. Anything that lives there, anything I can remove. I have the right to my body, regardless of what will happen to the other being. Thou shalt not kill. Drug, war, abortion. These are some societal issues that we have to face. The reality, the relationship, if something hinders, political wars. They could easily kill because of money. And killing is happening all around the world. And how can we pray for peace? Thou shalt not kill. Number 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. The relationships that destroys family is the extramarital affair. This is a culture, especially here in the Philippines, those working abroad, they have extramarital affairs. And the Bible tells us, if you look at women with desire, you already commit adultery. Still in the mind, it's still in the intention, you already commit adultery. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. The destruction of the names of others. This is respect to people. And we call this marites in the Philippines. We have new terms for this. When you stab people at the back, that's destroying. We have fake news. We create fake news for one another, destroying one another. Can we not say good things for people? And the song will say, you say it best when you say nothing at all. You say it best when you say nothing at all. So, my dear friends, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Last one. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife and thy neighbor's goods. The desire for property, the desire for adultery, the desire for the flesh. That's why there are attached, many things attached to this. And this, what St. Paul tells us, the pain in the flesh. The simple understanding of the energy of the sexuality that we have. And I ask for forgiveness for the priest who abuses many people in this context. That's why Pope Francis is very, very hard on this. When Pope Francis, the first time, he asked for forgiveness for the abuses of the priest in terms of sexual abuses. The question is intelligence can control the sexuality that we have? Again, this could deepen, this could be understood always in the context of relationship of Jesus. The relationship to Jesus, which we are asked to have a daily communication with him. So these 10 commandments, which was given to Moses by God, is given to us. And we have the modern understanding of these 10 commandments. And because it's 10, it's very hard to memorize it. Jesus cut it into 2. Love of God, the first 1 to 3, and the love of neighbor, 4 to 10. And if we love God by our neighbor, we should love, we should put it in a context of loving ourselves. That's why the first thing that we have to love is ourselves. How can we love others if we don't love ourselves? How can we take good care of our parents, especially if we bath them? We have to bath them. If you yourself does not take a bath, how can you clean your mom, your aging dad, if you yourself does not clean yourself? So a very simple process that is serving, that is serving. So the highest form of relationship is service. That's why the highest love that Jesus Christ showed us is giving himself, dying on the cross for the forgiveness of our sins. And the highest form that you could give is to serve our neighbor. And by serving our neighbor, we serve God. And only we can serve our neighbor by loving and serving ourselves. That's why, according to the song, the greatest love of all is loving ourselves. That's why there is this debatable issue. Are we going to love 100%? Or are we going to love 70-30? I love you 70%, and I keep my 30%. So that when you leave me, I have my 30%. That's why lovers now, when they love and when they separate, the other one is crying because nothing is left. Well, somehow, the challenge is we have to love, of course, 100%. Give our all. That's why in the Philippines, we always celebrate fiestas. And one of the trademark of great celebration is to have a lechon, or what do you call that, pig, no? In the table. That's lechon. Because when the pig loves, he gives his all. When the chicken loves, he only gives sometimes his egg. That's why we have to give it all. Then Jesus Christ tries to win people. And how are going to deepen now our relationship? It doesn't end with the 10 Commandments. Jesus Christ give us another ways to follow him. And what's that? We call it the corporal works of mercy. The corporal works of mercy. When you say corporal, it deals with the body, the physical. No? The physical. And then the spiritual works of mercy. So one is to feed the hungry. Feed the hungry. And one of the UN trust is to have a zero hunger in the world. How can we feed the hungry? A very simple way. No? Finish your food. The plate that you get, you finish it because others are hungry. Be one with them. Give justice. That's why today we have a culture of leftover foods. The culture of leftover foods. Jollibee, McDonald's, they have leftovers, but they don't give it to the poor because of legality. When they give the leftovers and the poor would say, we get sick because of this food coming from such company, and there will be legal charges. So feeding the hungry between feeding the hungry and that action and legality. So the culture now is become more legal. Because of the legal things, we don't want to help. We don't want to feed the hungry. As if we are neglecting a very simple thing. That's why I am very happy oftentimes when people celebrate their birthday and they would feed some poor along the streets. That's one way of sharing. Feeding the hungry is sharing. Number 2, give drink to the thirsty. Give drink to the thirsty. A very simple needs of man, hunger and thirst. Jesus Christ was hungry and thirsty at the top of the cross. And instead giving him water, what do the soldiers do? They give vinegar. That's why hanging on the cross, the soldier struck at his heart. What flowed there? Blood and water. That's the divine mercy. Water. Water is what the thirsty needed. Food. That's why Jesus Christ says, I am the bread of life. If you eat it, you will never feel hungry again. But if you eat manna from the desert, you feel hungry. So he addresses these two needs of the world. That of food and water. And water is free. But oftentimes, in the parts of the world, water is being sold. A bottled mineral water of 15 pesos would cost 100 pesos in the airplane. So the value changes depending on the venue in the hotel. Huh? But these are basic needs. Feed the hungry, give water to the thirsty, give alms to the poor, give alms to the poor. And Mother Teresa would tell us, if you have extra shirt that you don't use, you are depriving people who are naked and nothing to have to comfort their bodies. My dear friends, give alms to the poor. Yes, we give. But oftentimes what we give is our leftovers. Okay? Those things that we do not need anymore. Here in the Philippines, we help those people who are victims of fire, flood, etc. And we give our clothing. And oftentimes, the Aitas in the mountain receive our shirts that not fitted to them. We give our barong. Imagine an Ita wearing a barong. Because what we give is the things that we do not need anymore. But when you give, we give because we feel that's awful to have nothing. We don't give because we want to give. We give our leftovers or whatever, our extras. But we give because we feel, how is it to have nothing? And that's love. That's out of love. Shelter the homeless. Basic. Shelter the homeless. And I am very proud if the government has this shelter program for the homeless. Food, shelter, and clothing. The basic needs of man according to Abraham Maslow. And there's nothing new. It was already mentioned by Jesus Christ during his lifetime. Huh? Have we performed these things? Have we fed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty? Have we give alms to the poor? Or when somebody is coming to us and we're trying to drive them away? Next is visit the sick. Visit the sick. For the past 3 years that we are in the pandemic era, a lot of people died because of COVID. I don't even visit them. We were so afraid to be with them. That's why that period was the loneliest period in the planet, when you died alone. When you are dying alone because they cannot be with you. Because it's mandated that every person affected by COVID should be isolated. Have you felt being isolated? Have you felt being alone? When Jesus Christ was hanging on the cross, he felt that. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, Father, why have you forsaken me? Have you visited the imprisoned? During my college days, I have this apostolate to be with the prisoner. But every time I go to prison, I was so afraid. I was so afraid. I imagining that there would be a riot inside the prison. But that's a very human fear. No? That's why we bring the good news to them, that they too is being loved by God. And lastly, is to bury the dead. To bury the dead. So this is one of the things that every Christian is doing. We bury the dead. But burying the dead is giving due respect to the dead. Okay? So these are the things that matters most when we try to know, to love, and serve Jesus. We have the commandments to follow, the policies to follow, and it doesn't stop there. We have to do something to deepen our relationship. Doing is important. No? It is a vision of Jesus Christ, a vision of every religion, that every person must know God, love God, and serve God. So my dear friends, in this masterclass, let's just learn the basic of knowing God, the basic of loving God, and the basic of serving God. Always in the context of doing. It doesn't end in our minds. No? It doesn't end with knowing the cognitive part, the cognition. It goes higher, love. And it goes even higher, serve. So my dear friends, if you want to deepen our relationship with Jesus Christ, it doesn't stop when we accept Jesus, we have to do something. We have to follow his commands, and we do the corporal works of mercy. We have to make some push with this move. So I hope in this masterclass, you learn something. You learn the basic things of knowing, loving, and serving Jesus Christ. So my gratitude to our Queen for giving me this opportunity to share with you my reflection on this Good Friday. As Jesus Christ died for us, we must also die for Jesus, our commitment. Good evening, good morning, and whatever you are today. God bless us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can you just quickly, because of people that just joined, just give them the blessing of today, please, quickly.
Okay, so may the Lord bless us all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. What can we say? Special master class of the day.
Thank you, thank
Being the
you.
Good Friday. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much, sir. And all the things you've shared with us. Because of time, I won't be able to, but I think we are familiar with your teaching as a Christian. So I believe that all the things you've, and it's not only, let me say something quickly, it's not only for Christians, it's for every one of us, every human being, because it's still God that created us all. It's just that the way we serve God is different. Our faith is different. The way we worship God is different. The way we believe in God is different. But the principle still stand.
These are
And that
universal
principle
principles.
is for all of us to practice, whether you are Hindu or you are Muslim or you are Christian or you are Sheikh or you are, what's the other one? You know, so many faith out there. But the most important thing is acting on the principle, taking action, loving one another.
Yeah.
Love doesn't limit anyone, no matter the religion you belong to. You still need to love your God, you still need to love yourself, and you still need to love your neighbor. When we follow these principles, I can guarantee you that there will be peace in the world. When we follow these principles, I can guarantee you that there will be harmony in the world. When you follow these principles, I can guarantee you that the killing and stabbing and shooting and jealousy and abusing and violence will be reduced or even removed in our lives. Hatred, discrimination, all these ones can be reduced. And then when we also practice the principle, we see that we can love our people and even serve others willingly, happily. We'll be able to give to others. We'll be able to help others. And we'll be able to respect others.
No.
So it's still the same principle, whether you're Christian or not. And it's the same principle of building and maintaining your relationship. Because if you maintain and manage your relationship, then all these things we've mentioned has to be eradicated. That's the principle. So for sharing with us today, we really appreciate it, sir. Thank you for sharing a valuable point, a valuable moral point, a very best principle that every one of us can follow and practice, and our life will not be the same. And that is the way we can be transforming our mind, transforming our lives, and transforming our relationship. It's still the same principle. And may the Lord give us his grace. May the Lord help us to follow these principles, to help ourselves, better ourselves, develop ourselves, and also add value to others and respect others. So thank you so much for this valuable points. So let's move on. Thank you. Let's move on to the next great speaker in the house again for this, our YYCI Masterclass. And permit me to quickly introduce, but before then, let me just quickly do this. Sorry, I'm missing it. Let me go there. Okay, so I think I've missed it there. Right, we're going to the next one. But before then, we're just going to do this quickly.
Dr. Elizabeth Lucas is a dynamic and motivation speaker. She is based in the United Kingdom. She is the founder and director of YYCI International. She has been invited to several international conferences to speak and lecture. She is an intelligent teacher, author, and she is a mentor to the younger generation. Please subscribe to YYCI TV on YouTube to watch her amazing videos. You will be glad you did.
This is just to let you know that there's nothing too difficult for you to do.
If we can change, then everything around us will change.
Without wisdom, you can't really create wealth. We are in the world of creativity.
If your dream does not scare you, then you need to dream again. You know why? Because you have greatness in you. Do you know that you can do more than what you are doing right now? You might be a medical doctor. You might be a professor. You might even be a bishop. You can even be a head of state, head of, president of a country. Or you can still do more than that. Because you have greatness in you. Because you can do all things. Because you have gifts that you have not recognized yet. Because you have a book in you to write. Your voice, the world is waiting for. They want to hear from you. They want to see your creativity. So that is why I'm telling you that you have a lot that is still in your storehouses that needs to be bring out.
Let me quickly invite you all, to all my viewers, all my learners, and my participants, my great friends, and our great leaders out there, that there will be a special launching of this book called Relationship Matters. How can we build, maintain, and keep any relationship? Because we cannot do without talking about relationship, and we all need to be improving and getting better and transforming our relationship. So I want to invite you quickly to our launching of the book of our great authors, 15 of our youth, gathering all their ideas together to form this particular book. And this book is Relationship Matters. So you are all welcome to join us on the 29th of April, 2023, 10 a.m. UK time. So let me quickly introduce to you our next speaker, my great friend from Canada, Firstly, I want to appreciate the fact that he have to wake up as early as 3 o'clock, the middle of the night, to come and share with us. That is how powerful this topic is to his heart and how wonderful our relationship is building. Because if you don't have good relationship, it's not easy for somebody to wake up in the middle of the night and still come and share his thoughts, his wisdom, and his knowledge with us. So I want all of our viewers to appreciate that. So let me introduce our wonderful Von Eric Tan Doc, DTM. You might want to understand what is DTM means. It means a professional, distinguished Toastmaster in Toastmasters International. So let me go the further to say, our friend, our leader, Eric Tandok, is a professional, inspirational speaker, educator, facilitator, an Amazon best-selling author. Wow. Vonk Eric is a positive influencer, mentor, and coach of public speaking, clarity, and confidence building. So now I know the reason why we have to invite a great leader like that to come and give us a masterclass this morning or this afternoon or this evening. I like the place he says he is a positive influencer. Oh, yes. So when you move closer to him, your life will never be the same again. His work is about the importance of communication, learn the art of public speaking, and confidence in presentation. And we encourage any one of you that want to be best in your public speaking to contact him so that he will be able to mentor you, coach you, and guide you so that you can build the best confidence to be able to present yourself in a professional way. He is also a licensed teacher and had a background in customer service and marketing in the Philippines before moving to Canada in 2008. He now speaks globally in different platforms, organizations, and schools to share his mission and vision. Please help me welcome Amazon best-selling author, distinguished Toastmaster, Von Eric Tandon. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, dear Honorable. Thank you very much. But first, also, I would like to say thank you to Father Raul for your reflections, sharing your wisdom, sharing your insights to us. I'm now actually happy because I also receive a sermon reflections of Father in a very early morning. Now it's now 4 o'clock, 4:15 in Alberta, Canada. So thank you very much for your blessing, Father. And also thank you, dear Honorable Queen Elizabeth Lucas, for inviting us here in your masterclass session on building and managing relationship. And I would like to share my topic about communications and managing conflict because I always believe this is one way of how to build and manage relationship. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, a quick background from me. I'm from the Philippines. Sorry. I took my licensure examination teacher way back, God, 2010 or somewhere. Yeah, and then I moved to Canada. But before moving to Canada, I work as a restaurant manager of local branch of, can I say the name? McDonald's. I also work with Jollibee. So When I'm studying, I'm a self-supporting student. I support myself. I was able to help and finance myself to finish a Bachelor's of Arts, major in political science, and also in education. And then eventually, I worked as a manager, fast food restaurant, the two big fast food giants in the Philippines, Jollibee and Father Raul knows about that. And there's a lot of Jollibee stores now here in Canada and United States as well. And also, I work as restaurant manager, first as a marketing officer in Jollibee, and then eventually I moved to Canada, becoming manager to in a local branch here. So our topic for today is about communication. And before that, I would like to ask if I can share screen. Dear Honorable,
She left.
can you
And
allow me to, I think, sh- sh- let's wait for Professor Elizabeth. Okay. Father, can you see this one? The screen?
yeah, it's readable.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we have some viewers. I checked the Facebook Live of Dr. Lucas and I saw comments. So, Professor Lucas, can you see my
I
slide?
can. Yes, I can
Yeah.
see your slide. Yes.
For the viewer too, because I check your Facebook Live and we have some viewers. So for the benefit of them, I would like to share two slides. Now, this is one of my favorite actually. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. What does it mean by that? By George Bernard Shaw is that this one. We think that we already communicated something, but actually it's not. So let's say in our thinking, we communicated, let's say, letter A, but we will be surprised and actually upset when our listeners understood it as letter B. So that is what is meant by the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that has taken place. In my profession as a marketing officer in one of the biggest fast food chain in the Philippines and as a manager of another fast food, the rival fast food in Philippines and Canada as well, communication is the biggest challenge because we think that we communicated something and we think that we understood us, but in reality, it's not. And I came to know and I came to learn that the purpose of communication is to be understood so that you can get a clear response. So it's not enough that you are talking there, speaking there, communicating here. But the problem is sometimes they misunderstood us. So as a speaker, lecturer, facilitator, our main concern is every word, every message that we connect to our listeners, it is clearly understood. And that is the number one purpose of communication is to be understood. So I would like to share this one. Single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that has taken place. Now, I choose this topic about communication in organization in managing conflict because I've been studying conflict and communication since my time as a manager of fast food industry. So as you see, when we communicate well, we can begin and maintain a strong relationship. I love to say this one. A leader must be a good communicator. One of the attributes of a good leader is a good communication. Having a good communication will only not foster good relationship, but also it promotes peace, coordination. Okay? My slide is based on my book. Say It Loud, Say It Proud. And before I start reading some pages of this book, my inspiration in writing this book is my participants in my youth leadership program in my community. So I organize youth leadership program because my mission and vision is to help immigrants like me when they go to new country or new place or foreign country like Canada. They had this tendency not to speak and communicate, particularly to Canadians. It's because they have this fear that they will not be understood because of their limited knowledge of the English language. And I always tell them English is just a language and it doesn't reflect your intelligence. You came to this country, you can speak English, but take into consideration, shift your mindset. These people, if they will go to your respective country in India, China, Korea, in the Philippines, they can't speak your own native language. So this came to my mission and vision. I should organize youth leadership program in a school in an organization. It's because of my mission and vision to give inspiration and give confidence to the immigrants to speak, stand up, speak up, and master communication. So, what's the importance of communication, by the way? I'm going to read part of my book. When we communicate well, we can begin and maintain strong relationship at work that can result in a higher productivity in happier workspaces. And I can attest to that. When I came to this country, I can't communicate well that they don't understand what I'm trying to say. So I have to study why they don't understand me. And I came to realize the main purpose of communication is to be understood. Now, if they can understand you, regardless what language you will speak, even if you are in your own native tongue in your country, if they can understand what you're saying, then there will be no strong relationship. And clear communication at home, it can also mean deeper connections with your family. Communication skill are like a tools in a toolbox, storing all the things you need every day. You have the screwdriver, the wrench, the drill, the WD-40, the things that makes life run smoother. When communication tools are used together, they can be responsible for building successful project outcomes, great businesses, and they can power amazing adventures. Being able to communicate well is one of the most important life skills. So, to the viewers out there, friends, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, communication is not a soft skill. We should consider it as a hard skill. On a personal level, think of how it is needed to settle a disagreement between two neighbors. And on a global level, okay, communication is needed to negotiate trade agreements, peacekeeping, international treaties, and of course, a style of fence to build between two properties all rely on expressing your thoughts and listening to those of others. Now, friends, if we have a poor communication, it leads to severe breakdowns in cooperation. And effective communication, on the other hand, results in disagreements, misunderstanding, mistrust, and general disinterest. Excellent communication, on the other hand, builds trust, strengthens partnership, and reduces conflict. So it's a given. You want to be able to understand and others and be understood as well. So the biggest compliment in communication is when someone hears you demonstrate being interested and finds you an interesting person. And it's a worthy goal, right? In communication, our goal is to be interesting, not only interesting, but also interested to other people. And by saying that interested to other people, how can you show your interest to other people? By listening. Okay? So, what is effective communication? Effective communication simply means conveying your clear ideas in information and active listening. So, that is effective communication. And as we all know, communication is the exchanging of information and ideas. Just like what Father Raul, he shared his reflections, his wisdom and insights. That is effectively communicating his reflections to us. Effective communication involves understanding the emotion and purpose behind the information and ideas. And as a listener, I have to listen deeply to Father Raul and his reflections so that I can understand the emotion behind those reflections. And when you say understand, listening carefully, I have to look at him all the time, if not all the time, almost the time, without doing anything if possible. Although I wrote some of his phrases, and I love what I wrote it here when he mentioned, we will not serve people if we don't love. I wrote it down. But as much as possible, I don't want to do anything else because for me, if you want to understand the emotion behind those words, behind those messages, behind those reflections, you have to listen. That is the reason why God gave us 2 ears to use it to listen, and God gave us only one mouth. So you see, in effective communication, listening is very important. In a perfect world, we would speak and listen. That is actually the essence of communication. You are speaking and listening. And you listen and speak with absolute confidence and focus. So when you speak, you have that absolute confidence and focus. And this is all my teachings and my facilitation. You have to have this absolute confidence and focus on what you are saying. The same way you have the absolute focus when you listen to someone. And some others said, here, mostly Filipino immigrants said, I'm really scared to speak with other nationalities because of my limited English. No, you just have the confidence, the true heart to communicate, and that is important. Let's stop comparing. We should not compare ourselves to other people if they're doing good. What is important here is you have the true heart to communicate to other people. And if you are true person with a true intention, then everything will go into order. You don't need to be excellent in other languages like English to communicate well to other people. You just have to be true. Now, effective communication means conveying clear ideas and an information as well as active listening. We have one mouth and two ears. Focus on talking less and listening more. My dear friends, focus talking more. Unless, of course, in a scenario wherein you are sharing your reflection, sharing your ideas in your facilitation, or you are a trainer, that's another aspect. But in a conversation, focus more on listening than talking. In deeper connection, of course, family, strong relationship with your family, okay, to your neighbors, to your friends. There will be understanding, love, and of course, in a global aspect, negotiation, partnership with two countries. And if we have this negotiation and deeper connections, we will avoid war between two countries. Right? Just right. What's going on now? It's been a year. There's a war between Russia and Ukraine. It's because of that lack of deeper connection. And I would like to share this to all of you, friends. Without communication, there is no relationship. Without respect, there is no love. And without trust, there is no reason to continue. So, in communication, conversation, there should be a deeper connection and relationship. There should be love. There should be trust. That is deeper connection. What is the nature of communication? So we have the nature of communication here. Number one is awareness. Number two is practice. Number three is time. And based on the book that I shared in awareness, because we should be mindful of the word we speak to others. So we have to be mindful. Words can hurt people. So be mindful of your words. Words are powerful. If your words have love, sincerity, trust, then that's awareness. You are aware of every word that you utter, every word that you convey. So it's how you use your words. Words are power. It can make or break someone. If you break someone because of your harsh words, then there will be conflict. That's where misunderstanding in workplace, in your family, because you are not mindful of your words. So one nature of communication is awareness. Be aware of your words. Number two, practice. Practice, they said, makes us perfect. I will say practice makes us progress. There's a progress every time we practice. Everything is practice. That's the reason why the world-class athlete in sports, they practice, because the best method of effective to become effective in anything is practice. So practice good words. Be aware, practice, practice. So one person told me, how can be a good communicator? Well, it takes a lot of practice. When you start, then you start having that confidence. It's the courage to put yourself out there. If you want to be a motivational speaker, it's the courage to put yourself out there. If you want to be a leader, it's the courage to put yourself to be a leader. Courage first, confidence next. And of course, another nature of communication is time. What does it mean by time? Because meaningful messages should not be rushed. Did you hear Padre Raul with his reflections? Meaningful reflections should not be rushed. That's why I always tell other people, when you speak in another language, I have many Indian friends here, by the way. And when you speak in your own native tongue, it's very fast, right? Now, when you try to speak in another language, you still have that nature to speak very fast. And then they can understand you. So speak slowly. I like to call it the power of pause, the pacing. The power of pause is very effective so that they can digest the words that you utter or the word that you convey. I'm from the northern side of the Philippines, and our dialect there, by the way, for the information of Dr. Lucas, we have actually, Padre Raul, help me here. Maybe we have 170 languages and dialect in the Philippines, right? Over 170.
Yeah.
You
Even
include karaoke, because Filipinos love to sing. So that is our
Wow.
another language, karaoke.
Wow. Wow.
So when you speak in your native tongue and then you speak another language, let's say our national language is Filipino, you tend to speak too fast because you are used to that language, your original native tongue. So that's what happened when Indians, Chinese, Filipinos, when they speak English, when they are in United States and Canada, they can understand you because you speak too fast. So give time, because meaningful messages should not be rushed. So that is the nature of communication. Very simple. You should be aware, take time to practice, and take time to speak. And now there are three types of communication. Friends, the three main types of communication are verbal, nonverbal, and visual. Let's start with the visual first. What we see in the billboards, in our cell phone, in our social media, those are visual. Tablets, computer, what you watch, your emails, what you see, those are visual communication. The love letters, anything that you read. The books that you read are all visual. So that is one type of communication. The next one is, of course, the verbal, the words that we say. Now, for the information of everyone, including our live viewers in our Facebook Live, our verbal words is only 7% according to Meridian theory. And Meridian theory, that is from the professor in University of California, Albert Mehrabian, is professor emeritus of psychology at University of California, and he said that our words is only 7%. The rest are 93%. And what are those 93%? 38% is our vocal variety, our speed, our vocal tones, and then the 55% that is our non-verbal. So you see, verbal is only 7%, 38% is the tone of your voice. That's why there's a conflict when you say something. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Right? The intonation, the rising of your voice. So even if you have a simple communication, they think you are angry is because of how you say it. And that will lead to conflict because it's not the words or it's not how what you say, but it's how you say it. Now, what is nonverbal? Nonverbal is 55%. That's a big percentage. More than half of the 100% of the communication. Nonverbal here, it means to say your facial expression, your body language, your hand gestures, your body movements. Those are three main types of communication: visual, nonverbal, and verbal. Again, the ratio 7% for the words, 38% for your vocal tones, and 55% of your non-verbal or your body language. That's why in psychology, they said, if you're talking to someone, always look at his or her feet. If his feet is pointing towards you, that's a nonverbal. That means to say he or she is still interested to talk to you because of that nonverbal cues. Now, if you're talking to someone and he's facing sideways because you want to get out of the room, then that's a nonverbal cues. But if a person is listening to you, he or she will face you 100%, and his body is open because nonverbal is an effective tool when it comes to communication. You can tell a person if he's interested. If you recall what I said, in communication, you want to be interesting, but also you want to appear interested. Okay, let's move on. Confident messaging. What is confident messaging, by the way, friends? Confident communication requires learning some skills. And one of these skills are learned, you can learn. That's why I mentioned practice. Your conversation will be more powerful, your messaging notice more, and your connections to other will be deeper. That is confident messaging. I like to share this to you. Speak to those who have time to listen to you and listen to those who are willing to speak to you. So my question is, how much speaking do you do every single day? And how much listening every single day? I mean, when we say listening, truly listening with attentive focus on what the other person is saying, seeking to understand instead of planning your reply while they are speaking. And we have that beautiful quote by Stephen Covey, right? We listen not to understand, but we listen to reply. Have you noticed those in a conversation in a group? Everyone is talking, and I'm going to share this to you because of my friendship and deeper connection with Canadian people. And this is their observation. Why are you Filipinos when you talk? One is talking, the other one is talking. See? People are observing. And maybe not only other Filipinos, but other nationalities. When they are in a group conversation, one is talking, the other one is talking, the other one is talking. Stephen Covey beautifully said, we listen not to understand, but we listen to reply. So that is confident messaging. Okay? Confident messaging requires learning some skills, and one of these skills are learned in this busy world. We often dismiss learning skills around what we believe is something we know. The thing is, while we have all the basic of speech, some of us do not realize that we can improve and go beyond the basic. Okay? When we get out of practice with something, our standards can drop. When we get used to the running, of course, then let's say for a few weeks or months of practicing, it's like a muscle. It gets stronger and relearn the discipline of communication. So it's the same for communication. You practice, we need to keep those muscles just like in the gym. So confident messaging, clear communication takes time and practice. As long as you start. As in any endeavor, anything, sports, music, if you start and do it consistently, then you will improve your communication. So I am very shy. I am introvert. You notice those people who are really shy and introvert and they don't communicate well? Well, it's because they don't start. I'm also a shy person before, but I need to develop my communication skill because I'm in a marketing and I'm also a manager. And you can't be a good leader if you can't communicate, right? People are afraid of public speaking. They think that public speaking is speaking to 100 to 1,000 people. No, public speaking is if you talk to one person, that's already public speaking. We have this mindset that, oh, I'm scared of public speaking because I have to be in front of the stage. No. Okay. So you just have to start with one person. And then later on, that will make it two-person. It requires time and practice. And that is my teaching to my youth leadership program. And the youth, by the way, are the immigrants. And then later on, I discovered when I talked to one school official here in St. Anthony's School. And he said, I've been in this school for more than 30 years, but I still have that anxiety to speak in front of people. Why is that? Right? So it takes time and practice to have that confident messaging. Now, we discuss about communication. How can we manage conflict? If you have a clear communication, then you might as well avoid conflict. But again, we need to know how to manage conflict. Conflict arises everywhere. Workplace, in your organization, your club, in your neighborhood, your family. And poor communication leads to severe breakdown in cooperation. Ineffective communication results in what? Disagreements, misunderstanding, mistrust, and general disinterest. Now, how can you manage conflict? There are some ways to resolve conflict here. Number one, talk directly. If there's no physical threat, then talk directly to the person. Open up, speak up, talk directly. That is one way to resolve conflict. Another one to resolve conflict or manage conflict is choose a good time. The right timing is the best timing. Okay? Choose a good time. If you think the other person is angry, don't confront him or her. That's why there's a so-called lovers quarrel, right? Because the other partner doesn't know how to choose a good time. For husband out there, if you think your wife is angry, choose a good time to talk to her. And for those wives out there, if you think your husband is tired from work, don't nag him. Choose a good time, right? Husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, two friends. Of course, managing conflict when you plan ahead, particularly in workplace, you will be able to avoid conflict if you plan ahead. Let's say, oh, what I'm going to tell him. Oh, I should have a clear communication with him. That's planning ahead. Number four, to avoid or manage conflict, aside from having good communication, is of course, don't blame or name calling. This is what happening. We always blame others. That's what happening in the politics, particularly in the Philippines. There's an opposition. There's an administration and they're blaming each other. Leaders should not blame each other. Instead, find a solution so that your country will prosper. No blaming, no name calling. Particularly during the pandemic, there are many opinions about the masking and we having this name calling. Those who are following the masking, they said, oh, you are a blind follower. See, that's name calling. That's why there's conflict, there's war, there's disagreement. It's because of this blaming in name calling. Now, number five, manage conflict is give information, the right information, okay? Not wrong information. You have to give information by conveying it clearly to other person. Now, number six on managing conflict is listen. we have to listen carefully. Number 7, show that you are really listening. By how? When someone is talking, you're not looking at your cell phone. Face to face conversation. One is talking and then you are looking at your cell phone. That's happening. Look at your surrounding. Observe the people in a restaurant. One is talking or one is in his cell phone or her cell phone. So you don't show that you are actually listening. Now, in workplace, if that is your nature, when your subordinate or your boss or your equal talking, giving direction, and then you're looking at something in your computer, you're not actually showing that you're listening. And there will be conflict. So those are the 7 simple ways to resolve conflict. But I like to share the care, CARE. And what are those? Care, 4 steps to resolve conflict. And this is the core of our masterclass, my presentation today, the communication. Communicate. Open communication is the key in a dispute. So that is the letter C in the care, 4 step to resolve conflict. Communicate. Open up. Speak up. Tell what's inside you. That's why if you notice the Facebook, right? When you say in the Facebook, uh, what's that term again? What's on your mind? When you open your Facebook, what you can see there, what's on your mind? And that is Facebook. And everyone is to Facebook. We are addicted to Facebook. And it says here, what's on your mind? So that is letter C. Communicate. Next, in the care four step to resolve conflicts is actively listen. Okay? Listen to what other person has to say without interacting. Next is review options. Talk over options. Communicate the option. Looking for solutions that benefit everyone. Remember when I mentioned the blaming? Instead of blaming, look for an option. Review the option. How to resolve something. And the last one in the care, fourth step to resolve conflict is this one. And with win-win solution. You have to end it with a win-win solution. So that is care. Communicate, actively listening, are review options instead of blaming, and then end with a win-win solution that will benefit everyone. Communication is very important. My wife is the type of person who doesn't speak. She's so quiet. And I'm not a mind reader, but sometimes because I always believe that communication is not only words, because words is only 7% according to Moravian theory. I always look at her body language because it's 55%. She may not speak, but I can tell her if she's happy through her body language. I can tell her if my wife has a menstruation. We call it in the Philippines dalaw. Father Raul knows that. Dalaw is she has a visitor. That's the menstruation period of every woman. And if you can tell that by, then you have to keep quiet. Okay? You have to serve your wife, your girlfriend. Father Raul's reflection is serving. Okay, when you see your wife or your girlfriend, they're not talking, they're quiet, but you can see their body language. Be observant. Because communication is not only about words, it's observing the body language of other person. I learned that the hard way when my wife is still my girlfriend and we got this quarrel every time, and then I realized, oh, she has dalaw, she has menstruation period, and we gentlemen, we don't know how to understand the feeling of our partner because we don't observe their body language, their gestures, their facial expression. And that is also what happened in organizations in a workplace because we don't know how to observe other people. That's why I mentioned one way to resolve conflict is choose a good time. Now, let's say you want to request a vacation to your boss. Check if your boss is in a good mood. That is good time. The problem in the world is it's all about me, and me. That's the problem in the world. We always think of ourselves only. And we don't care other people's emotion. We don't care other people if they are hurting, they are lonely, they are angry. It's because of me. So that is how are we communicate well and how to manage conflict. If my wife at home quiet, I'm also quiet. If my wife wants to talk, I talk. See, that is observing the gestures, the body language. Let us eradicate the me mentality. Let's invert that M to W from me to we. That's how we manage conflict and eventually lead to a deeper connection because of good communication. Thank you very much for lending me your ears. Thank you very much, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is Boneric Tandok. It's an honor. I'm humbled to be part of this masterclass today. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Queen Elizabeth.
Wow, what can I say? Wow, wow, wow. You are truly indeed a coach, a mentor, and even a building confidence coach. This communication is real, When I was listening to you, I believe that some of our audience as well are doing the same thing. I learned a lot, especially the way you round up, the way you finish it up, which is the most key there. Be observant in communication. Wow. We need to observe the other person. That I'm also working on that as well. So you are not alone. Where we observe the people we're talking to. It might not be the right time. They might be going through a lot because we are not psychic. And they might be going through a lot in their mind. And that is why we need to plan. We need to check it out if it is the right time to say what we want to say. Like you say, what we want to communicate with might be the right information, but how we communicate it is very important. And then the time we communicate it. Like something you do in this, which I learned, because I'm not going to say that I know it all. One of the things I learned when my children are in teenager, they are late 20s now. So one thing I learned during that time was don't correct them or communicate with them when you yourself are upset, when you are hungry, because they can only see your emotion at that time and not listen to what you want to say. That's one point. Then another thing you said as well, when we observe the other person, they might be going through something at that time. For example, probably my husband comes back from work and then he's gone through some things at working place. And then he came back. And then the first thing I want to do is to communicate what is in my own feelings, not knowing the other side. And then we'll be upset that he's not listening because he's not responding to what I'm saying. So that is why we need to be more mindful of that. We welcome him, let him set you down first. Maybe he has something to say first, and then later. And another thing also I learned from this is that when you are listening with attentive ears, not when you've already planned to talk, to respond. Or he's talking to me about probably his feelings, or maybe his plans. You didn't even let him finish, and then you override it with your own plans. Say, for instance, when my husband will say something like, oh, I'm planning to do something right now. Probably we're going to travel, something like that. And then you jump into it and say, oh, I'm planning to cook something special. No, that's, everything have to be in line, have to flow. So you let him finish his own statement. When you listen, then you understand what he said. Then you'll be able to respond to that. Then after that communication, that time, then you will be able to now express your own. I learned from this, what you are sharing with us, for one thing as well, that timing is very important. There is no need sharing or talking to me about food, and at the same time, my husband is talking to me about car. So it's like throwing words to one another. It doesn't work. I'm not listening to him, and he is not listening to me. There is a time to talk about food. There's time to talk about car. There's time to listen and respond to what you've heard. Because part of responding is you actually understood what he has said. And that brings two things. Number one, respect one another. Then number two, clarity of what has been said. That you understand what you've said and you respond appropriately. So I learned that. There's something else. It is in my notes. I've really, I can't go through everything now to share, but I'm just picking up the key points which personally to me is my own take up. Another thing you said as well, which is very important, is we need to take time to practice. I like it where you say, and it is true, I was a victim of that. When I say, oh no, I can't speak. Oh no, I can't face the audience. Oh no, I am not qualified. I was in that state before. I like what you just said, that public speaking is by starting to speak to one person. That's public speaking. That's the way. And then once you have that mindset that, is that all? So I can speak. Oh, yes. You just need to develop it. Like you said, practice makes progress. So it's what you do every day. Every day, there will always be improvement, improvement. I waited for 30-something years, Doc, before I could be speaking. Because I always write myself off that I don't have anything to say. People will not listen to me. I'm afraid of saying something that is not sensible. That kind of thing. Until I break loose and I say, enough is enough of waiting. I have the word. My word is valuable. It's about believing in yourself. So when you now say that, people can start by, if you can just believe that you spoke to somebody today, yes, you are a public speaker. That encourages. And that is also one thing I learned today. So if somebody is telling me, oh, I can't speak, I will repeat your words. Say, have you spoken to somebody today? Now you are a public speaker. Because it's about inspiring others. I want to say thank you so much for sharing. There is also another thing as well that I learned from you that is very important as well. And that is use the good time. I've said it before. Use the good time. And when you are speaking, speak direct. I know some of us will like to speak in parables. We need to sometimes we want to speak, this good slang. But speak direct for the person to understand. Because like you said right from the beginning, there's no point speaking and the other person is not understanding what you say. It's like waste of time. So you need to observe the person you want to speak to. For example, there was time I was teaching somewhere and I was telling them that, do you know that there's differences the way you want to speak to your daughter, your children, and the way you want to speak to another person out there. There's a way you will speak to your spouse or your husband or your girlfriend or boyfriend will be different from the way you will speak to your employees. Your employers, your workers, those who are working with you. So it's always different. For example, as I'm a leader, the way I will speak out there should be different from the way I will speak to my husband because my husband is my head, is my leader. So I have to gauge it. We have to differentiate. We have to plan it and also to know who we are speaking to. You need to know a little bit about who you are speaking to. I like the way you've also show us the example of yourself and your wife. I was smiling at the background. Oh, yes. Sometimes we take some things for granted. Our wives and husband are so unique. They are so special. They are the gifts that God has given to us. And sometimes we don't appreciate that. And if you want to appreciate somebody, you need to know more about them. I like it when you say something about, you observe the time of this menstruation, the time of yes, all these things are unique. If love is there, you want to know. Like they always say something that man thinks logically, women thinks emotionally. So these are the small things that we need to know if we really want to build relationship. It's more than saying, I love you. Practice the love. And what you practice inside your home, we extend to others out there. So I like that one as well. Let me not waste much of your time because I think we need to round up now. My wonderful Von Eric Tanto, thank you so much for joining us, waking up as early as 3 o'clock to come and share with us. To me, that is great. That is so great. And I really appreciate it. And I believe all our viewers, our participants, our listeners, especially on Facebook, right now, I want to believe that you appreciate our speakers today. Firstly, Father Ro Basela from Philippines. And then second, blessing us. As you can see that as Christians, we are celebrating Good Friday today. And then Father came to express to us, for us to remind us again that it's not just celebration. We have to follow the principle and move closer to God. And then our lovely Eric Danton also expressed further to talk about deepening our relationship with communication. And you cannot separate communication from relationship. So they've spent time to prepare well, and they've come to share with us on this masterclass. So we want to say on behalf of YYCI International, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate both of you. And please pause because we might call you back. Oh, not might. We will call you back. We will invite you back to whatever you've shared today. Because when we call you back, you continue where you stop. So thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, for your knowledge, and for really, really, really expressing it for us to understand. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for this masterclass because I was able to connect with Father Raul.
Yeah.
Father Raul,
Thank you,
nice
Sir
to meet
Bon.
you.
Nice meeting
That's
you.
good.
I'll see you.
Where are you in Canada, Sir Bon?
Thank you.
Alberta.
Alberta.
Father. Alberta.
My
Okay.
sister is in British Columbia, Kelowna. I have a sister in
Kelowna.
Kelowna.
Beautiful place. Beautiful
Okay.
place, Kelowna.
Great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of these days, we will try to visit you in Canada, in
In the
Philippines. Physically, not just virtual.
Yeah.
Not just virtual.
Yes. So thank you so much for today. And thank you once again to all our viewers. I've seen so many of them. One of my mentors, Professor Charles, was there. I saw him earlier on. One of my son, Adiremi Adishino, was there as well, and many, many more. Miss Gumati Prasati, thank you for joining us. Oh, Monica, Mom, thank you so much, and your daughter for joining us. We really appreciate you, and many, many more that have joined us today. We appreciate you. And I believe that we have recorded it, be willing to go back to the videos on Facebook or YouTube and learn more, because like they said that only few percentage that you can grab at one sit to listen. But if you go there and learn and watch and listen more and more and more, then you can get the whole picture of what we've shared today in our masterclass. So I want to say thank you also for joining us, and happy Good Friday. Enjoy the rest of the Easter period and stay safe and stay on top, be happy, stay positive, and God bless you all, to all our viewers. I also want to say to you, our great leaders that have shared your wisdom, knowledge, and experience with us today. Thank you so much, Von Eric Tando from Canada. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Father Ro Basile from Philippines. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your time. And thank you for sharing with us today. May God bless you. May God keep you. May his eyes shine upon you. Stay safe, stay positive, and keep up the good works, because only God can reward you mightily. God bless you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
God bless.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, Father Raul. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Dr. Raul.
Listen.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
bless.
Bye-bye. God
Thank you.
bless.
God bless.
Thank you.